When I'm working on electrical underneath the dash, there's a word that comes to my mind. Yeah, that's it. So I had a question about how the seat on the passenger side of the Bronco mounts, and specifically, what does this leg look like? It's pretty straightforward, and it looks like with the other leg here, this whole seat can pivot up if the back part of the seat is unbolted. But I got it bolted here, so it's not really going to move anywhere. So I suppose if you unbolted this, the whole seat would flip up. In any case, that's what it looks like. Thanks for the question, Mr. Mortsky. I hope that helps. I do have the inner fender wells. They're in storage right now. And if you're looking at this engine, you might notice there isn't an oil filter. Strange as it sounds, 1955, these did not come from the factory with an oil filter. It was a dealer add-on. So looking under the car, see this oil pan looks like it's been jacked up on a few times. And I try to wipe everything down. Trying to track down some leaks. I know the tranny leaks over the winter. If it's sitting for a long period of time, the tranny fluid comes out of the torque converter and then just finds every orifice that it can come out of, and it leaks. I'm gonna start it, run it for a while, and then see where my leaks are coming from. So we're gonna sit here for a few minutes, running in neutral. The engine sounds pretty good. Has a really good exhaust tone to it. I just pumped this tire up before pulling it out of the garage. I think it's time for a new tire. Last fall, I had problems with this tranny. It's a cast iron power glide and it's slipping. So I'm going to make an attempt to adjust the band on this thing, see if it makes a difference. This cap here is what fits over the nut. So you gotta back this nut off, and then there's an Allen head in there, and you tighten that up. Back it off 3 rotations, and then you tighten that nut up, and it should be adjusted. We'll see if it works. So I adjusted the band on the transmission, dumped the transmission fluid, and replaced the fluid with some of this Dexron and a quart of Trans-X, hoping that would make a difference. Filled it up with fluid, drove it around for a while, and then the same issue manifests itself again, where once it heats up, it stops shifting. It just stops. There's one more thing that I'd like to get resolved before making the final determination, and that is there is a throttle valve linkage that is non-existent on this car. So here's the accelerator, and then there should be like a throttle valve bar that goes back to this piece back there. I don't know if you could see that, but anyways, that's attached to the transmission, and I suppose it's also called a kickdown cable. So that tells the transmission where the throttle is at. Would that make a difference of it not shifting? I don't know. I don't think so, but I figured before we send it in for rebuild, let's get all the parts on here and see what we're working with. So replacing the throttle return spring with the new old stock one and the throttle linkage. All right, you know which one's the gas pedal?
This one right here.
Right, okay, so when I tell you to, I want you to mash that thing all the way to the floor. Okay, let it up. We got the linkages installed for the throttle and kick down. We finally concluded that the transmission is shot. Transmission needs a rebuild. So about 2 weeks, I'm gonna send it off to a guy whose shop is about 10 miles from here, and he's going to rebuild the transmission. He's like an old school guy. He understands these cast iron power glides. In the meantime, I thought, well, let's start working on the electrical, because there really isn't an electrical harness in this vehicle. So I got the front part wired, the headlights inside the car, still working on under the dash, making sure everything's in here, all installed correctly. I have to refer to a diagram. I got one ordered and it's on its way. But big guy working on a little space. It's not my favorite thing. So we got the wires coming off the steering column. They need to find a home. Get the main harness. It's all numbered. That's the back part of the harness. Tail lights up to the firewall. Thanks for watching, guys. And hopefully on the next episode, we'll have this car running and maybe even all the electrical done. So I drove the truck to work today. Figured might as well. I don't think we're gonna get a spring this year. I think it's gonna go right to summer. That was fun.